Hey everybody, it's Mike from Fish in the Mid-South, and today I am going to show you what I believe are the first two knots any catfisherman should learn. Now, before you go crazy and start typing in all kinds of hateful comments and how I'm wrong about everything under the sun, I'll go over the knots, then I'll go over the reasoning behind them. If you still disagree, feel free to leave a comment and tell me what an idiot I am, because let's face it, we're not going to agree on everything. So, without further ado, we have a large hook here. This is just so you can see it, and I wish it were a little more visible, but there it is. It is a bent eye hook, so the eye is bent backwards. If it's a straight eye hook, it works the same exact way. So you take the tag into the hook, what will become the tag in the hook, you go through the front to the back, and you just kind of pinch the line to the back of the hook, like so. And your hook is going to be made in such a way that you have a solid side of the eye and an open side. And that's because it's a piece of wire that is bent around and meets back around. You want to start your wraps around the side that is solid. So we're going to do that. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now at this point, you just kind of want to move your fingers up and just kind of hold these wraps in place. You want to make sure you don't overlap those wraps. So you've got that tight, and then you take the other end, which will be the standing end that you'll attach to your swivel. You'll come through the back of the eye towards the front. So again, the hook point's right here, like so, and you will pull it tight. Okay, now you can snip the tag into this. You don't want to snip it too close, and I'll show you why. Okay, so as you can tell through all the maneuvering that we did here, we never actually tied a knot. So this can be pushed through and can loosen up these coils. Now, I don't use this specific knot anymore. I've moved on to using an egg loop knot, which starts off the same way pretty much. But again, we're starting off with the beginner, the easiest beginner, etc. Now, this knot, which isn't a knot, but anyway, is the strongest snell knot I have found. I have tried several, and this one has almost as much strength as the line itself. When I tie this and I use my pull tester, 75% or greater of the time, when the line breaks, it's going to break up here somewhere. It's not going to break at the knot. When I use other knots, it's going to break at the knot every time. Okay? So the snell knot. So there's purposes behind this. One is it kind of pulls from the shank of the hook. With a circle hook, you want to use a snell knot. It helps. People say it helps with the trigger action. So you come around and then, because it pulls the hook, it's going to help stick it in the fish's mouth easier. So that is the no-knot snell. That is the only snell knot I believe that you need to know, other than the egg loop knot, which again is more of an advanced topic. This is much easier to tie, although the egg loop knot is not that much more difficult. So we'll set that to the side. We'll cut off another piece of our high-vis 40-pound mono. And this is the one that's going to have people up in arms. So I'm telling you that the first knot that you need to learn for tying terminal tackle, whether it be a hook that's not a circle hook, whether it be a swivel, sinker, whatever. And this is going to be the trilene knot. Okay? So to do this knot, we're just going to put the line through the eye one time. We're going to come back around with that same piece, and we're going to go back through that eye one more time. And what that's going to do, so we've created a little loop here, right? Give us a little extra line to play with here. And we'll pull that through. The loop doesn't have to be very big, maybe a little smaller than the size of a dime. And when you pull the tag in back through here again, you've ended up with, you're going to have basically two loops, right? So the one we already created, and then this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to twist the line 5 times. We're going to go wrap it around 5 times. So we're going to go, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you take tag in and you go through both of those loops that we created earlier. And you just kind of pinch this and the swivel together. Now what's important is that this is not rolled over like this, because that makes it harder to seat the knot. So when you pull it like this, you want everything to kind of be nice and straight up here, not doubled over with the bend where the twists are doubled over here. This doubled over piece, you just want to be a solid single piece. And you pull. You can pull either end or both ends, and it will move the knot a little bit. And of course, you wet your knot, and you pull it tight. Now, one thing I've learned about knots is that even when you think you have them really cinched down tight, you don't. There's always a little more movement. So give yourself, I don't know, about a 1/4 inch tag end. And on these, with the tri-lane knot, you can just kind of stick the tag end under there, so it doesn't, as you're pulling through weeds and such, it's really not going to catch. Okay. And again, people are going to argue with me, and I'll tell you the why on this knot. So this knot can be used for everything short of tying 2 lines together, like a braid to a mono or that kind of thing, right? So you're going to use this to tie your hooks, your swivels, etc., unless you're using a circle hook, in which case we'll use the no knot snell that I just showed you a minute ago. Okay. So that shows you the tutorial on the 2 knots. And again, when this knot comes down, you can see it seats very nicely. The tag end, you can kind of tuck back in the swivel or the hook eye or whatever. And then this end would end up going to your hook or whatever. So it'd be kind of like, that's how it would look if the 2 lines were spliced together, right? Okay, so now let's explain why. So as a catfisherman, most catfish anglers are going to start off using mono. Most of them are going to continue using mono because catfish are not line shy. So with mono, the tri-lane knot works wonderfully. Doesn't have to be tri-lane branded line. I have done a lot of strength tests using a test puller that shows what strength it takes to break the line. And this one is stronger than the improved clinch knot. It's stronger than the clinch knot. And I've had better results with it than everybody's perennial favorite, the polymer knot. Now, the polymer knot is arguably easier to tie. The problem is that you can make more errors when tying the knot. And also if you have, depending on when you tie the knot, when you're making the rig, you may have a lot of items that you have to pull through the polymer knot. So the polymer knot is a good knot. But when you're first starting out, you need to learn 2 knots to get you through almost everything you're going to need. These are the 2 knots. It's stronger than this tri-lane knot, stronger than the uni knot. It's stronger than most every knot. The polymer knot's the only one that even gives a run for its money. And about 20% of the time on a polymer knot, on my strength test, it would pop really early for unknown reasons. The knot seemed to be tied correctly. There was no reason why it was breaking, but it was. So, monofilament, these 2 knots are the great place to start. There's a whole plethora of knots we can go over. Let's start with 2. So that explains the strength. This is easy to tie. This is easy to tie. Now, as I said, I've moved on from this knot to the egg loop knot, and we'll go over that at another time. But we're starting off with, if you needed to start catfishing from the get-go using monofilament, these are the 2 first knots I would teach you. If you disagree, leave a note in the comments, and I will try to respond in kind. So you come at me hard, I'll come back at you hard. That's kind of how that works. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. Please like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. I do have playlists on my channel showing different rigs, different knots, the whole 9 yards. I do deals, deals that I find. It's not kickbacks to me or sponsored content or any of that, just deals that I find that I want to share because I think that they're good fishing or fishing related adjacent deals. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.